Good morning. I've had several questions about what to do with long sleeves. So in this video I'm going to show you some of the different things I do with long sleeves depending on how the shirt is tied up. So on something like the spiral, that one is easy enough. You can do a couple different things with that. Well, probably more than that, but a couple of the things that I do. If I have it twisted up into a spiral, the sleeves, you can simply just wrap them all the way around the rest of your spiral here once you get it all flattened out. And what this is going to do is give you lines on your sleeves, because as you color your piece of pie for your spiral, you're going to color little bits and pieces, so you're going to have lines going all the way up your sleeves. But if you don't want that, something you can do to add a little bit more spice to your spiral, before you start tying it up, if you take your sleeves and lay them out nice and flat, then you can tie them up separately. So since I'm going to do a spiral on this, I could do a spiral on the sleeve. So you can pinch it right there, twist that up into a spiral. Another thing, if you grab this top edge up here, so instead of spinning from the middle of the sleeve, you spin up here. That's going to put a spider design on your sleeve. So that's another option there. But we're just going to go with the spiral on this one. So I'm just going to pinch that, tie that up. And I just took it right up to the shoulder sleeve right here, the seam. So in fact I can use a couple rubber bands to hold those in place. Okay, so there's one side. Then you do the other. You can do the same thing. Okay, once you have your two spirals tied on your sleeves, then you can spiral up the rest of the t-shirt here. You can do it afterwards, but it's harder to wrap it up and get the bands on. So if I'm going to do something like that on the sleeves, I'll do that first. And that way when I go to tie up the t-shirt, then the sleeves are pretty well contained, and you can get your rubber bands or your kite string on and around them easier this way. All right. There, now in this way you can dye 3 different spirals on here, and you can color coordinate them. You got a couple of the pieces that are leaning in here, so you can kind of color coordinate, match them how you want, or you can color them completely separate. But basically you have 3 spirals to color, and I'll show you the results of what that looks like later. Another thing, if you have pulled the front of your t-shirt forward to do like a peace sign, so I have just the front, and now I got these 2 sleeves here. They're just kind of a mess. You can't do too much with that. You can try to fold those up, but then you're going to have this big wadded area here in the middle. So what I do, if I pull just the front of the t-shirt forward, is I will stick one T inside the other, or one sleeve. So I usually try to make sure that my seams are nice and straight here, so I can get those lined up. And then I just take one sleeve and I basically stick my hand in here and gather all of that up onto my hand as I push my arm all the way through this sleeve. And you can kind of help yourself through on the neck hole here. And then you work into the other sleeve. And then you can reach into this sleeve, pull that little piece up, and line it up. And like I say, what I try and do is line these two seams up together. So it just takes a little bit of work in these two sleeves. Once you get the two cuffs lined up, then you can kind of pick it up and shake it a little bit. Reach up in there with the other hand and make sure that everything is kind of lined up nice and neat. I can feel both of my seams right there. So now I know those are lined up together. So now you can lay your shirt back out. And then what I do is take these sleeves and I'm going to condense them. Sorry, I think I did this backwards. It should have been the other sleeve. So I'm going to grab both of these and pull that all the way forward through. Okay, that's what I was wanting. Now I can take my shirt, lay it down. Here's my peace sign still. Here's the back of the tee. And that's something else. I'll show you some things that I do with the back of the tee if you guys want to learn that. I had one person ask about doing a spine on the back. So now I'm going to take both my sleeves. So I stick my hand inside there. And I'm just going to gather all of this up on my hand and push this all the way down inside. Once you get it down in there, and you can even, sometimes I'll stick my whole hand in there. And then you can kind of spread that out and stick your whole sleeve. I'm just kind of working it in there. I'm taking my hand inside and I'm doing this with it just to spread the t-shirt out. But basically I'm condensing the sleeves right in their own hole here. The shoulder hole is going to compact all of those, both of the sleeves down into itself. And then you have this here ready. Then you can scrunch up the rest of the t-shirt. I'll show you the back later. For now, this one here is going to work better just to kind of scrunch it up. And the other thing, this part here where you just scrunched all the sleeves in together, that's going to be really thick. So you're going to want to make sure that when you're putting your dye in, you kind of open that up a little bit, make sure that it's getting really nice and saturated in there. Okay, so there's a peace sign on just the front of the tee. And then the sleeves are stuck down inside themselves. And then that's going to be easier to dye that way. So we'll stick that out of the way. Another thing, if you just have folded your t-shirt in half and you're tying the same design on the front and the back of the t-shirt, I did this with the heart, so I just folded the t-shirt straight in half. And I tied a heart on the t-shirt. Now I have my two sleeves here. And the nice thing with it folded up this way is you can tie a different design on each of the sleeves if you want. Or you can work and tie both of the sleeves at the same time, depending on which way you want to do it. Since I put a heart on the chest, I'm going to do the same thing here on the sleeve. So, anyway, sure I have this right. Okay, so here's the shoulder seam, so we're going to do a heart. And you could do more than one heart. You could do, well, let's do 2 hearts on here. And this is something you can tie any design that you want once you have it separated out like this. The other thing, you can fold the t-shirt in half. I did the peace sign, I pulled just the front forward, but I could have straightened that out and had the front and the back laying next to each other here, and then one sleeve will be inside the next. And that's another way that you can fold the 2 sleeves together. This one here just gives you another option of doing different things on each of the sleeves if you wanted to. Okay, so now there is a heart design that's going to be on the front and the back, and then there's going to be 2 hearts on each of the sleeves, and then the rest of this I would just kind of scrunch it and gather it together here. The main thing is making sure that you keep track of the hearts so that they're on the outside. So I kind of scrunch all of this into the middle, and then I can easily dye the hearts that are all on the outside of the t-shirt here. And there is going to be your heart tee. So that's another thing that I do with the back, or with the sleeves. Okay, so this time I'm going to show you how I shove the sleeves one inside the other and fold the t-shirt in half, so I have something different on the front and the back. So what I like to do for that, I'll turn the t-shirt inside out so that I can see the actual seams here. It just makes it easier for me to find a nice center on the t-shirt. So I'll kind of lay it out flat here. I grab the seams right there in the armpits and pull on those just a little bit just to make sure that nice and smooth. I smooth my edges all the way down here to the bottom of the shirt. I pick those 2 corners up and I fold those together, and that's how I find the center of the front of the tee. So I pull that out, then I grab the collar and I'll line this up, and I look for the 2 seams here and I'll line those up nice and straight. And now I know that I have the center of the front of the tee. It's at that point I'll go ahead and hold on to those 2 in one hand here, and then I'll take one of my sleeves here and do the same thing I did earlier. You just stick your hand in there and push that whole sleeve all the way through into the other sleeve. And I still try to hold on to the top of the center of the top and the bottom of the t-shirt here in one hand. And that just helps me when I get everything all lined up, then everything just kind of falls into place. So here I'm grabbing the 2 seams on the cuffs of the sleeves, lining those up. And if you're doing short sleeves, you can do this same exact thing. It just doesn't take quite as much work to get it there. So now, there we go. So once you have your sleeves in, and they look fairly lined up, then I'll lay that down, grab the bottom of the back of the shirt, fold that forward, fold the sleeve, or the front center that I have, and then you just kind of shake it and everything kind of lines up there. So now I have the front and the back of the tee separated, so I can do two different designs, and the sleeves are lined up inside of themselves in each other there. So when I tie those, they're going to come out the same. Main thing is making sure that they're laying flat in there. So you might have to do some extra work. So I just keep grabbing this cuff here, shaking that till that's nice and even, and then making sure you have both parts of the sleeve there. And now you can make your decisions on what you want to do with your tee. It's really, tie-dye for me is about designing the tee the way that you want it. One of the other things that I do with the long sleeves is I'll give it kind of a raglan look. And for that I go all the way up to the, let's see if I can find the collar of the tee here. I'll go from there all the way down to the armpit. Draw yourself a line. And then we're going to fold that up just accordion style. And what this is going to allow me to do is gather up the sleeves and dye them a different color, which gives it that raglan look, like those the baseball tees. So this is just another thing. There's endless possibilities of what you can do with the sleeves. It's just another piece of fabric. So if you just think about what kind of design you want on it, you can design your long sleeves however you want, and then make it work in with the rest of your design. So it's just a matter of tying things off and fold them up separately. So there's my sleeves separated. And then if I want to do two different designs on the front and the back, that's going to be easy because I now have access to both of them here. We'll finish tying those sleeves up in a minute. So for the front of the tee, and it's easy, make sure for your front that you notice that the back has the tag on it, of course. I know that's obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious. So for the front of the tee, I think we're going to do another heart on this one, and then I think we'll do a spine on the back of the tee. So, oh, I guess I just want just the front. So I'm going to pick this up, pull just the front of the tee forward now, and the back of the tee is back here, and draw my heart on here. And of course this works with any design that you want. You can pick two different designs for the front and the back. Okay, so there's the front of the tee. And now for the back, we have that separated out here. So now I'm just going to line that up. And with the spine, it just depends on, I'll pull those out a little bit, give myself some working room. You can draw a line on here, or you can just go for it. When I do a spine, I usually just go straight up the back, and I'll go maybe 3 or 4 inches. This looks like about 4 inches here, and I just do an accordion fold. So you can determine how wide. Just remember that however wide you have this, it's going to be double that width. So I probably won't keep the whole 4 inches. I'll probably go with about 2 inches now, make about a 4-inch spine down the back of the t-shirt. And you can design this however you want. I'm just going to do just a straight from the bottom to the top. But if you wanted to make it curvy, you could do that. If you wanted to make it flare out at the top, you can do that. It's just a matter of however you fold it. And for this, I'm just going to do a DNA. So I'm going to pick 2 or 3 colors for this and then lay them out. And then on the opposite side, I'll shift them over once in my coloring. And I'm just doing this quickly. My folds aren't perfect here, but I'm just trying to show you how to do the spine on the back of the tee. So I'm just about up to the collar. Now if you want some white in your spine, then you can use sinew to tie this, and that'll give you some nice white detail, white lines in your spine. I'm just going to use kite string and dye it just a solid with the DNA design. So I'm going to take about maybe 2.5, 3 inches of fabric here. I'm just kind of folding that tag up a little bit just to get it out of my way. Okay, just about ready here. So that's going to be the spine on the back of the tee there. What I'm going to do is color from here. So I'm going to color 3 lines on there, and then I'm going to alternate on the back, which will give me the DNA look. So to start with, I'm going to get the rest of this folded up. Okay, and then the rest of this is the heart. So I'm going to... The one thing with this method here is it does put kind of this awkwardness in there, but you can adjust for that. I'm just going to set that up sideways instead of trying to make it lay flat. And then I'm just going to scrunch up the rest of this heart. Sometimes I just decide in the moment how I fold it. Sometimes I have a plan, and you can sit down and decide just what you want to do with your sleeves and make it work for you. So I'm going to go through and, well, let me do the quick DNA dye here just to show you what I mean. So let's see, we're going to use turquoise and some fuchsia for my DNA. So what I'm going to do, let's zoom in just a little bit here. Is I'm going to dye turquoise right here, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't let the turquoise go all the way down to the bottom here. Just right here on this side, the front. And then we're going to put turquoise in this back spot. And we're going to put fuchsia in the middle here. Okay, now on the back side, I'm going to rotate, so I'm going to put fuchsia now in this front spot. This is why I made sure that the turquoise didn't soak all the way down, because I wanted to have room for fuchsia to fill in there halfway or thereabouts. And then they meet in the middle, and of course they'll form purple. And then we're going to put fuchsia in this back spot. And turquoise in the middle. So this is going to give me the DNA, and this is going to be the spine right up the back of the t-shirt. Okay, and so there is going to be your long sleeve tee that's going to have the raglan look, it's going to have the heart on the front, and it's going to have the DNA spine on the back. And I'm probably going to dye the rest of this in purple, and I might do green or something with the sleeves, but you'll see that here in just a few minutes. Thank you for watching. Please like and share my videos.